This is the weekend edition of iFIBER One News, where we present some of the top stories from this week and your weekend weather forecast. I'm Bethany Jenks. Stay tuned for the weekend edition of iFIBER One News.
From the iFIBER One HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER One News, your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER One News, and it starts now.
One of our top stories for this week was about the Boys and Girls Club annual Rubber Duck Regatta in Moses Lake. Reporter Joe Utter was there and has the story.
One giant duck and thousands of small ducks hit Moses Lake Saturday afternoon for the Boys and Girls Club of the Columbia Basin's annual Rubber Duck Derby. This is the club's 4th year holding the fundraiser event, but unlike previous years, the ducks weren't floating around the lazy river at the Surf and Slide water park. Rochelle Beresford, the club's director of resource development, said organizers decided to expand the event this year and release the ducks in Moses Lake. While people waited to see how their ducks would finish, activities were set up along the shore at Cascade Park, including face painting, a bouncy house, games, and prizes for the kids.
We've expanded a little bit with it and have brought it to the park to bring out some more vendors, different organizations, as you can tell kind of behind me, get their word out as much as we want to get our word out about our organization, and of course have it kid-friendly, and we kind of mix it up a little bit with bringing it to the lake itself. But yeah, so 4 years, but this is the first year that we've kind of branched out and brought it to the park.
Being able to get more than 3,000 ducks to go where you want them to go brought new challenges this year.
Absolutely. So they have come up with a course of their own. Our executive director, and then a few of our board members, they have come up with this concoction of how to set up the course for the ducks, and basically how to get them to funnel in and up to us so that we can find out, the winners and everything like that, get them going, figure out who won the grand prize.
More than 50 prizes, which were donated for the event, were up for grabs for the top finishers, including a grand prize of $1,500, which went to the employees at the company BBSI. Beresford said between $12,000 and $15,000 were expected to be raised. Donations from events like the Duck Derby help the Boys and Girls Club continue to grow.
It's what helps drive our programs and our activity costs, be able to offer all the things that we do for the kids and continue to grow and offer that much more for them and their families.
The Boys and Girls Club opens their new facility on September 18th in time for the next school year. The $3 million project allows the club to expand and offer more activities for children. People wanting to donate to the Boys and Girls Club of the Columbia Basin can visit the club's website at www.bngclub.org. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER One News.
The Grant County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate the shooting of a 29-year-old man near Soap Lake on Wednesday. Reporter Joe Utter has the details.
4 people were questioned by police after a man was shot early Wednesday morning near Soap Lake. The victim, a 29-year-old Soap Lake man, called 911 after he suffered a gunshot wound to his thigh. According to the Grant County Sheriff's Office, he was taken to Columbia Basin Hospital in Ephrata and later transported to Confluence Health Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee.
Deputies developed information that suspects or possible suspects were in a home at State Route 28 and Franklin Street that surrounded the home. They used a loudspeaker to call the subjects out of the home, and 4 subjects were detained after exiting the residence. They're now being questioned by detectives to find out what role they might have had in the shooting.
Nobody was arrested as of Wednesday afternoon. Deputies believe gang members were involved in the shooting. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER One News.
And now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We'll be right back after this.
My name is Kat Sanderson, Managing Broker for Pillar Rock Realty Group. We love the Columbia Basin because it's our home, and we want to give back to our community by kicking off our Pay It Forward campaign. If you buy or list with us, we will donate 1% of our total proceeds to a local charity of your choice and in your name. Call us today at 754-4444 or visit pillarrockrealty.com because we are your local real estate experts.
Now for your iFIBER 1 News Weather Center forecast.
Hello everyone, I'm Cristina Sanchez with your local weather segment brought to you by Berry Motors, one great place to buy and service a car. We're still under a red flag warning throughout the night since we do have strong wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour, maybe even stronger. And this is due to a cold front that has already moved across the area. And this is why we have been under a blowing dust advisory that will continue throughout the evening. A cold front has already moved into the inland northwest. This is bringing a drop in temperatures and also those gusty winds throughout the overnight hours. For Saturday, for us here in Ephrata, I do expect the winds to be up to 10 miles an hour. Within the past 24 hours, we did start off the day in the low 70s for us here in Ephrata. The average low is 60 degrees, so still well above normal for this time of year. Highs today closer to the average high, which is in the upper 80s, and the record high temperature for the state was set back in 04, and the record high was 103. Our sunset at 8:12 for tonight. For you in Moses Lake, you did start off the day in the upper 60s. Your average low temperatures in the mid 50s and highs right around that average high temperature, which is in the upper 80s. And your record high temperature for the state was set back in 1992, and the record high was 102. Those high temperatures that we had yesterday. Now for us here in Ephrata, currently we're right around the mid 80s. We still have those westerly winds, sustained winds between 20 to 30 miles an hour, wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour, and we'll continue to have those strong wind gusts throughout the overnight hours as this cold front already moves out of the area, and it's also bringing a chance of strong showers and thunderstorms. Some may become severe west of our Columbia Basin, but as we go into Saturday, that's all going to move out of the area as the cold front moves into the northeastern portions of the state, and right behind it there will be much cooler air mass and also dry conditions across the area for us here within our Columbia Basin. For Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, I do expect to have plenty of sunshine and improving conditions also along the coast throughout the overnight hours as that cold front moves into the northeastern portions of our state. As we take a look at the high temperatures for this Saturday, right around the mid 70s in Seattle, Yakima Valley, mid 80s, plenty of sunshine, and look at that inland northwest, still feel that drop in temperatures with high temperatures right around the upper 70s, plenty of sunshine. And let's take a quick closer view within our area. Once again, we'll feel the cool down in temperatures for tomorrow. Our high temperature right around the low 80s with plenty of sunshine for us here in Ephrata, and for you in Royal City, highs will be right around the mid 80s. Within the next 7 days, I do expect the highs to be right around the low to mid 80s for this weekend. Nice weather pattern, dry conditions for us. Then highs for Tuesday will be in the low 90s.
To save some energy, I've used Einstein's mass energy equivalents to design the haptic suits you see in front of you. They will maintain our core body temperature while we completely turn off our heat and air conditioning. With the money we save on our Grant PD bill, I'll be expecting that trip to Disneyland this year.
You don't need to be a super genius to save energy and money. Visit grantpud.org to learn how.
The Apple Sox wrapped up the 2015 season, dropping 2 of 3 games to the Yakima Pippins. We had a chance to catch up with Wenatchee's top hitter, Keston Hiura, to discuss his stint with the ball club this year. Here's Sean Wells with the story.
Keston Hiura is a big-time playmaker for the Wenatchee Apple Sox. He plays center field and will be a sophomore this season at University of California, Irvine. Keston hit for a .356 average while playing for the Sox, breaking the single-season record in doubles, triples, and total bases. Keston's approach at the plate has been simple. He's not looking to break records, just looking to make contact.
I haven't really been paying attention to it. I've just been told, people coming up to me saying congratulations, but you know, it's just an honor. You know, just trying my best, hitting the ball as hard as I can. And
Keston has put in a ton of hard work on the field to be where he's at. The Sox center fielder gives praise to his hitting coach back in California for giving him confidence at the plate.
I've been with the hitting coach since I was 8. His name's Sean Thompson. You know, he's pretty much guided me to where I am now. And you know, not only the physical side of hitting, but also the mental side. So very thankful for his advice and his guidance throughout this whole process.
Keston hopes his monster numbers in Wenatchee continue back at UC Irvine. He expects big things from his college team this season and is hungry to show why.
So you know, getting that experience under the belt, it's going to pay off a lot this year. So excited for the year to come.
For iFIBER 1 News, Sean Wills.
Wenatchee finished a disappointing season below the 500 mark in West Coast League play, but their ace on the bump had a chance at a club record. Sean Wells has the details.
Hunter Wells had all his pitches working this season for the Wenatchee Apple Sox. The tall righty out of Spokane tied the single-season club win record with 7 victories. Hunter played high school ball at West Valley and plays collegiately at Gonzaga. Wells enjoys pitching in Wenatchee, and his numbers prove it.
Actually, I played here last year, and I know Coach Prozac, and he wanted to have me back, and so I was more than happy to be back because it's the closest one to home, and my parents can come watch whenever, and so it was nice.
Hunter tossed a lot of innings this season for the Sox. He threw 68 1/3, posting a 2.77 ERA. Hunter thinks the extra work will help come college play.
Getting a lot of innings is amazing for me because I just need to work on repetition, and so all these innings is going to be a lot of help for me to be able to repeat mechanics and throw a lot of strikes.
Hunter's success with the Apple Sox has given him confidence his pitching will carry over to Gonzaga. He's ready to take a big step and can't wait to get going.
Of course, and that's one thing I need to have is more confidence, and this has helped out a ton, and so I mean I'm pretty excited to go into the fall.
For iFIBER 1 News, Sean Wells.
The River Dogs look to keep the mojo flowing this weekend as they head into the final rounds of the Senior Babe Ruth World Series in Klamath Falls. The team advanced to the semifinals Wednesday and looks to bring home championship hardware for the first time since 1998. Have a great weekend and go River Dogs!
For 12 years, E-Freight has hosted the best free music festival in Washington. This year was no exception with performers like Austin Jenks. And you're going to meet him and other headliners like Greg Raleigh, founding member of Santana and Journey. Welcome to iFIBER 1's Inside Look at Basin Summer Sounds.
She says she talks to angels. They call her out by her name.
Our next story is about a Quincy family whose popular sweet corn has people raving across central Washington. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
It's harvest time, baby. Woo! Dessert on a cob.
It's the busiest time of year for the Kallstrom family, Mark, Elaine, Elizabeth, and Uriah. They're machine harvesting and sometimes hand-picking ears of sweet corn by the thousands. The Kallstroms distribute their product to roadside stands in Ephrata, Moses Lake, and Cooley City. They distribute to farmers markets around Grant County, Wenatchee Valley, Omak, and further west in Issaquah. Their popularity comes 7 years after they sold off their family dairy farm for a less demanding kind of agriculture. Mark Kallstrom says while the biggest demand for their product is local, they're tapping markets west of the Cascade Mountains, even high-end restaurants.
We sell it to the Herb Garden in Woodinville, Washington. That's a $190 a plate dinner. Also, we have a friend that takes our corn up to the San Juan Islands and sells at high-end restaurants up there too. Also, we have a high-end restaurant in Leavenworth, Washington, and a high-end restaurant in Wenatchee.
A fourth-generation Washington family farm, the Kallstrom's cornfields are located about halfway between George and Ephrata on Road 7 Northwest in the Quincy Valley. When demand and orders are at their highest, the Kallstroms can harvest more than 200,000 ears of corn a day on the 100 acres where they raise it. Mark shared some of the family's farm history.
In 2008, we raised 300 acres of sweet corn. 3 different canneries kind of courted us because they were short on sweet corn that year. So we raised 300 acres, and then the next year we went to raise it, and they didn't really need us because they had an abundant supply. And I don't blame them for sticking with their, historical growers, which was the right thing to do. And so I said, well, we'll just raise it ourselves and direct market ourselves and see how it goes.
While Mark and Elaine are the farm's foundation, Uriah acts as the utility field boss, and Elizabeth is the quality control manager. Elizabeth Kallstrom, who is a Grant County Sheriff's Reserve deputy during the winter, helps keep the sweet corn organization rolling. She loves the work.
I'm in the field early in the morning and helping them package, sort through all the corn, get it ready for shipment in all the vehicles, and just a variety of different things. Doing that, also helping with my mom with the bookwork, driving tractor, which is something I prefer to do. It's very peaceful.
Uriah drives about 700 miles a week to deliver more than 8,000 ears of sweet corn to market stops. He says he and Elizabeth hope to take over the farm when their parents retire.
We'd love to take over the farm. I mean, it's a great way of living, raising a family, and pursuing agriculture.
Elaine Kallstrom, who is a nurse in the off-season, explained what she likes most about farming.
Just being together and putting our ideas together and trying to come up with the best working situation.
Mark, who has been a farmer most of his 60 years, says he's not ready to retire yet.
When I used to get up in the morning on the dairy, it'd take me about 5 minutes to get out of bed and get going. My wife says, yeah, now it takes you 10 minutes to get out of bed and get outside. So it's no problem for me to get out of bed and jump right into my work shoes and pants and head to the fields. I mean, I love it.
I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
We'll be right back.
Quincy Foods, LLC, a subsidiary of Norpac Foods, is seeking motivated individuals to fill the positions of general laborer for their corn harvest season. They have full-time seasonal openings, must be 18 years old and older, willing to work swing shift. Great people to work for in a challenging food processing environment. Apply at 222 Columbia Way in Quincy between 8 and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, or online through WorkSource. Quincy Foods is an equal opportunity employer.
Welcome back. The next story is about a new city park under construction thanks to a partnership between Moses Lake and Hayden Homes. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
A partnership between developer Hayden Homes and the city of Moses Lake is producing a new city park. It comes at a time when the city is tightening its budget by cutting back on parks and recreation programs. The city's Parks and Recreation Department is calling the public and private sector agreement to build the 3.6-acre park on East Truman Drive east of State Route 17 a model project. Developer Hayden Homes is saving between $200,000 and $300,000 by building the park itself, a job normally undertaken by Parks and Recreation. The city of Moses Lake also wins by saving about $50,000 in the process. Moses Lake Parks and Recreation Director Spencer Grigg explained the advantages of the first-time agreement the city struck with Hayden Homes.
For the first 2 years, what we came to an agreement on was they would build the park. They've already got construction equipment mobilized. They're clearing the lots for the new phase of the Hayden Homes project, and they can bring that same equipment in while it's out mobilized. They can clear and grub the land. They can use their subs that are cutting in sprinklers for the homes, do the sprinklers here. Long story short, the park happens immediately, which increases the value of all the homes near it.
Hayden homeowner Amber Stark said her neighbors are excited about the park going in so quickly instead of waiting 5 years for the city to build it after the subdivision is completed.
Everybody in the neighborhood is very, very excited. Most of the neighbors have actually waited in anticipation for this park for the past 6 years. Then when Hayden stepped up and actually decided to do that, we were very, very excited because we chose this lot for this purpose. And this area has a big need for it. There's so many kids in these Hayden homes that we are in desperate need for a place for them to go that's safe and fun and, you know, someplace for them to play.
Stark's new home is adjacent to the future park and Hayden Homes subdivision work. Brian Thorson, Hayden Homes Regional Land Development Manager in Moses Lake, said the park is going to be built in the coming weeks. He said subcontractors with Hayden Homes are expected to install an irrigation system later this week. A meandering sidewalk is to be installed in the next 2 weeks, along with the planting of trees and grass seed. The city has planned the walkway to eventually connect with the city trail system. Grigg said the city is to maintain and improve the city-owned parkland once it's complete. Eventually, the city could add picnic tables, children's playground equipment, and restrooms. Grigg called the park agreement with Hayden Homes a win-win proposition.
So you get a park now, you don't have to wait. The developer saves a few bucks, the city saves a few bucks, ultimately the community saves a few bucks, and believe it or not, with 25 parks, we're still struggling to keep up with our population and their needs.
I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
Rounding out this week's news coverage is a preview of the Grant County Fair, which kicks off on Tuesday. Reporter Devin Higgins has the details.
The third week of August means the return of the Grant County Fair to Moses Lake. The 2015 edition kicks off on Tuesday, August 18th and runs through Saturday the 22nd with hours from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The Davis Carnival is back as well with rides running from noon to midnight Tuesday through Thursday and from noon to 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. The Brian Miller Stage features live music all week long from acts like the Doo-Wah Riders, Moses Lake's own Dime Store Prophets, and the Lake City Blues. There's also a chance to get up close and personal with animals, get some treats, or make a last run at a Space Burger for the year, along with exhibitions, activities, games, and more. Admission is free for all ages on opening day Tuesday, and half-price admissions for friends of the fair and military, law enforcement, or firefighters and their families on Wednesday and Thursday. A full breakdown of the 2015 Grant County Fair is available online at www.gcfairgrounds.com. In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
That wraps up our weekend edition. iFIBER 1 News will be back on Monday at 5 p.m. with the latest news from around the Columbia Basin. Thank you for watching.